Namaste and welcome to Wisdom with Grace Yoga. My name is Sophie, and today I have a practice for all of you runners out there, myself included. I recently started running, so I designed this practice for you to target all the areas of the body that tend to get used and maybe tightened during runs, and this is great for a post-run. So we will be using a few different props today. Most importantly, I'm going to be using the wall. You also might like a bolster or a couple pillows, a thick blanket, and a couple of blocks. Put any music on that feels supportive to you, and when you're ready, let's begin. So before we get into any deeper stretches, we're going to do a restorative posture, legs up the wall. And this supports your veins. If you have varicose veins, it's really important to do legs up the wall right after a run. Of course, cool down first and then come into legs up the wall. It also helps with blood flow and any swelling that you're dealing with. So find yourself at a wall. I have a blanket here that I like to put underneath my head because my mat is fairly thin. And then scoot your bum right to the wall. So we want the bum to basically be seated on the wall. And then just swing yourself around, and you might need to scoot your bum a little farther forward to the wall. If this is bothersome on your low back, one thing you can try is bringing the soles of the feet to the wall and lifting your hips, and then placing a bolster or a pillow underneath your hips. And you might need a mat for this in case your floor is slippery. And that might feel a little better. So give that a try. If you're okay with just the hips on the floor, then go for that. So find a place here. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes or so. And taking a breath here, moving into our first deeper stretch here, we're going to work pigeon to get into our glutes. So if you are using a bolster, simply lift your hips and move that out of the way and scoot your hips. Maybe you like to scoot your hips down a little bit more. And we'll be practicing pigeon on the wall. So bringing the ankle of the right foot just above the left knee and pressing the right shin away, flexing through both feet. And this might feel like enough of a stretch for you here, or if you'd like more, start to walk the left foot down until you start to feel an acceptable amount of sensation here through the outer hip. And we'll be here for a couple minutes. And if for any reason the sensation, maybe you went too deep, then simply walk the foot back up the wall a little and lessen it a little bit. Or if you want more, you can always walk the sole of the foot back down. And we don't need our hands in this posture at all. The wall is doing the work for us. One more breath here. Release the right foot, extend both legs again. Starting with straight legs, placing the left ankle atop the right thigh, just above the right knee. Press the left shin away, flex through both feet, and then slowly walking the right foot down until you find an acceptable amount of sensation here through the hip. And again, you can scoot yourself so you're further away from the wall. That can lessen sensation as well. And taking a breath here, release the legs. And the next posture we're going to do is going to be working into the ligaments and the muscles of the groin. And we're going to be doing frog. So I will be showing frog on the wall. This is a gentler, more restorative frog. If you know you're tighter in the groin muscles or you just don't want a lot today, this is an option for you. And then I will show you frog on the floor. So I'm just scooting my hips back from the wall. And this isn't totally graceful, but so we want the knees and the hips to be in one line here. So you can just peek down and make sure that's about where they are. And the soles of the feet to the wall. And then just open up the legs here. And this might feel fairly intense enough for you. If you would like more intensity, you can either bring your hands here as a weight and don't press, just let them hold them here. You can also literally grab some weights. I like to use ankle weights or sandbags on the inside of the knees. And this might feel fairly intense, and this might be where you stay in your frog. Or if you would like to explore frog on the mat, just roll over onto one side, come to the mat here, and I will be using a blanket for my knees. So once again, the hips are directly stacked over the knees. And I start with the toes together and just bring the knees out wide and the elbows to the floor. And from here, just check, make sure the hips haven't drawn back towards the feet. Draw them back in line with the knees, and they're not going forward of the knees either. And then from here, flex to the feet and bring the feet in line with the knees. You can also, if you have a bolster, you can rest your chest on a bolster, or just bring one cheek to the floor. Taking a breath here. And if you're on the wall, you can bring your knees together and just roll over onto one side. If you're on your belly, to get out of this, I just roll on forward, straighten the legs back behind me. And we'll all come to our abdomens on the mat. We'll be working into the quadriceps. So starting in a sphinx with the elbows directly underneath the shoulders, we're going to be working into our quadriceps here. So bending through the right knee, reach behind with the right hand, find the right foot, and draw that foot in close to the glutes. If you want some more here, press through the right hip into the floor. One more breath here. And release the right foot down. And just moving on to the other side, bending through the left knee, sweep the left arm back behind you, reaching for the top of the left foot. And you can even bend that left elbow towards the ceiling. If you need more here, gently pressing the left hip into the floor. And releasing the left foot down. Bringing hands by your sides, pressing back up. And just moving into a counter pose here, coming into child's toes together, hips back, reaching the fingertips forward, forehead to the mat. And then moving into our calves, we're going to go into a down dog. So walking the hands a little farther forward, press through all 10 knuckles of the hands, tuck the toes under, and lift the hips into down dog. Start by pedaling out the feet, dropping one heel and then the other, moving slowly, pausing anywhere that feels like it needs more attention. And then lifting both heels up, draw the heels over to the right. Inhale, lifting both heels up. Exhale, draw them over to the left. And lifting both heels up, coming back through to another down dog. So let the heels release. And the secret to getting a calf stretch in a down dog, so normally down dog, our pelvis is neutral. But to get that nice juicy calf stretch is to I don't like the word juicy. I don't know why I said that. Tuck the tailbone under and that can help to get into the calf muscles a little bit more, I find. So even creating a little bit of a rounding through the low back. And exhale, release the knees to the floor. You might like a blanket for underneath your knees as we get into the hip flexors or the psoas. From kneeling, stepping the right foot forward into this low lunge. Make sure the left foot is behind the left knee. So now we're in a low kneeling lunge, or Anjaneyasana as it's called in yoga. And bringing the right hand to the hip, reaching the left arm up overhead. As we do so, we're gently pressing the hips forward. So this is getting into the TFL. The TFL sometimes gets tight, and some of us, if our glutes aren't very strong, sometimes it gets overworked in running. Also bring your hand to the knee or to the block or to the floor if you're a little more flexible. And then returning back to center, let's just invite a gentle twist, twisting open to the right. I bring the right hand behind the back. Maybe find the left hip with the right hand. Gently press the knee into the left hand as you twist open to the right. And from our twist, moving into our lizard lunge, you might like blocks underneath your hands for this. We're shifting the hips a little farther forward. Make sure that right knee stays directly over the right ankle though. And I have a hard time staying in this posture for very long. It can be quite intense for me personally. So one thing I like to do is to bring in a bolster here. And this just helps me to add some time to the stretch a little bit more. And I just press it right against the knee of the left leg and then move forward from there. And going to the inside of the leg rather than having hands on either side can invite some space here if that's needed in your body. Just make sure we're not rotating onto the left hip, that we're keeping the hip squared forward. So we get into that psoas muscle. And one more breath here. Draw the hips back and just come into a bit of a hamstring stretch, flexing the toes towards your face. And we won't be here very long. We'll just come right to the other side. So bend through the right knee and stepping the left foot forward into that kneeling lunge, shifting the hips forward and down, placing the left hand on left hip, knee block anywhere you'd like, and stretching over to the left. Inhale back to center and twisting to the left. So placing the left hand behind the back, right hand to right knee. And then returning back to center. Maybe walking that left foot a little farther forward so we're able to stack the left knee over the right ankle into our lizard lunge. And if you liked that bolster I did on the other side, go ahead and grab the bolster on this one. Should never be gritting our teeth or breathing heavily in these postures. We're not trying to force ourselves or brace ourselves in them. We're allowing the body to relax and breathe. That's not beneficial that's not benefiting anything to do that. So just allow yourself to breathe. Find an acceptable amount of sensation in the body, which changes day to day. And one more breath here, slowly making your way back up. And just straightening through the left leg, just a quick hamstring. Stepping the left knee to meet the right, coming into our final stretch of practice today for the feet, which get a lot of use in running. So tucking all 10 toes underneath you and sitting the hips towards the heels. If the hands on the floor feel the most truthful today in your body, then go ahead, just stay right here, or you can come up to seated. But again, we are finding a place that's acceptable, where we can hold and breathe. One more breath here. And then gently release the feet. You can tap the tops of the feet a few times. And that concludes our practice today. If you would truly like to make this yoga, then take time for some meditation. Come into Shavasana. If you'd like a guided meditation, I have some of those in the description box below. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have many more runs in your future. Thank you, and namaste.